You went to the shops, bought yourself a whole organic chicken, and what to do with it? Well, there's so many things you can do with it. It's endless, to be honest. Endless. But today, you're in luck, because I'm going to do a step-by-step chicken mushroom pie. And not just any pie. It's gastro pie. Gastro pub style pie. Okay? Yeah, this will be a step-by-step showing you how to do a chicken and mushroom pie. Let's get cracking. Let's get cooking, baby. Now I'm gonna give you a heads up here. I'm not a butcher, and yes, I'm a chef, but you know, I don't butcher chickens every day of my life, so this is gonna be fun for me and you. So what I like to do with the chicken is I find this extra flap of chicken skin. I just remove it just to make the breaking down a little bit easier. I do keep that for when I roast the carcass. So just remove some of this fat, keep it for later. And you'll see here by the neck, there's always a little bit of extra chicken skin. Keep this too. This is great for stews and stocks. I noticed that the neck is still attached, so I'm gonna attempt to cut this out. Now, ideally you just wanna get some scissors like I did now. Just snip it off, keep that again for the stock. Okay, and then this is the fun part, or the hard part about breaking down a chicken. It's the wishbone that always gets in the way of getting a clean cut off the breast. What you want to do is get your knife and feel where the bone is and try to work your way next to the thin bone, get your fingers in and pop it out. Even if it breaks, it doesn't matter, just get both of those bones out of the way. It will make the job down the line a little easier when you get to removing the breast from the carcass. Mine broke there, but it's all good. At least it's out. So once those little tricky bits are out the way, time to focus on the legs. And I like to start with the legs and keep the skin kind of firm down towards the leg, so when you do get towards the breast, you have more skin on the breast. So what you want to do is just slice down the side of the leg. And when you do that, you'll notice that it slightly opens up and you can actually follow the pathway that it creates. But don't go all the way through yet, just do both sides of the legs. And once you get the skin kind of off closest to the actual rib cage itself, you want to lift up and then pop those legs out of their sockets. This will make it way more easier to take off those legs. And like I said before, I'm no professional butcher, but it's always satisfying removing a clean leg from the carcass. So next up is the wings, and I always kind of pull the wing up, allowing the knife to find the knuckle by the shoulder type area of the knuckle. And once you get that, you do the same thing. You just allow it to pop open and break through so you can get a nice clean chicken wing, keeping as much flesh on as you can. But you know, it's not easy getting this technique. You just lift up, go as low as you can, circle the joint. Once the joint's circled, you just pull back, pop it, and then cut through the rest of it. Similar to like the legs. Okay, so here's the next phase, a little bit more tricky. So I just go through this like connecting flap between the upper cavity, the chest cavity, and the lower back. It's good to have a pair of scissors on hand, as you'll see. Some of the bones you just want to be able to kind of cut through and get it over and done with. I'm sure a butcher will be looking at this and laughing, but I did have to use the scissors quite a lot to get rid of this connecting rib cage. But once it's over and done with, it's good. You just use scissors to chop it all back, and yeah, you'll see. You just want to have the entire lower carcass back to kind of separate, and you're going to use that for the main stock, which is a beautiful part of the chicken to use for stock, with all that kind of like offal and bone structure inside there. So that's great. And there we go. Now we have the upper cavity with the chest plate, and where the breast sits on the chest cavity. Now this is where you gotta have a sharp knife, and you want to be able to go through down and feel the middle bone, and then follow down past that cartilage. And once you do that, you just want to make sure you're using the knife to kind of slide the knife through hitting the rib cage, and then follow the knife and just be patient. And you know, like I do here, I move it around the board, making it comfortable for me. And then you just want to slice the breast that is connected to the actual cartilage area. And this way you get a clean cut off the bone. I recommend being a little bit more patient than I was, because I kind of got some meat, you know, that was still attached to the bone, but I managed to get it all off, and you'll see there's a little bit left over, but it's good. It's a full chicken breast. You still got the tendon still stuck on, and all the skin can cover the breast, so it's pretty good. Just trim up any excess, and that goes straight into for the stockpile. And you know, these two pieces over here are not going to be used in the pie, but I like to trim them up, get the tendon off, and have the chicken breast kind of prepped up, and you can use it for whatever you want. I tend to kind of like to keep the chicken breast for dinner and the chicken tendons to like make a chicken mayonnaise sandwich or something. So keep this and yeah, use it later. Okay, breast number 2, always the trickier one because you don't have surface to kind of hold onto, but it's the same principle. You just want to find the closest line to the cartilage center bone, and just patiently remove that meat off the bone. It's kind of therapeutic. If you just want to practice, just get a bird and break it down instead of having it broken down for you. It's kind of fun. You'll get, look, you'll see where I've left a whole bunch of meat there. That is not what you want. So like I said, there's still a lot of meat on the bone, but that's okay because I'm going to be roasting all of this and turning all of that excess into flavor, which will go into the stock. So it's not a waste, but not ideal. Okay, let's finalize this chicken breast, get it all cleaned up, and we'll keep it away for another dinner. While you're here watching me prep some of this chicken breast, I would like to take this opportunity to say, please like this video, put the thumbs up, and subscribe if you're into this sort of content, because all of that makes a difference for us content creators, and it helps with the algorithm. We appreciate it. Much love. So now for the chicken legs that we've broken off the carcass, we want to just split them down the center. I normally just pinch the middle and I'll feel where the knuckle is, and I just know where to put my knife through and just cut through and separate the drum from the thigh. Now this step here, this step is the most important for this chicken pie. This is the essence of a pie. This is what makes that chicken pie pop and so different to any other pie that you've ever eaten. The thing is, you want to be able to use that carcass that you have left over, and you want to be able to season it up, get onto a roasting tray and roast it in the oven at 400 Fahrenheit to 200 Celsius for at least 45 minutes, or until it's extremely beautiful and golden. Now, if you're wondering why this is the most important part, it's because when you make a roux, which is basically flour and butter and sometimes milk, but we're going to be using this chicken stock that we get from a leftover carcass. This is going to be able to utilize the entire bird itself and to add more chicken depth and flavor to this pie. It's extremely amazing. This is you cannot skip this process, and I trust you will try it. So here, just a little quick breakdown. We got the back. We have that back that we removed. We have the neck that we kept, the full carcass from the bird and the leftover meat, and the chicken wings. Now, yeah, you could keep that away, but chicken wings are great. This is what we wanted to go for. There's a lot of caramelization on this chicken. So you notice on that top bit there, look at that. That is game-changing gold money right there. This is going to add so much more flavor to the stock. That's the chicken skins. So tempting just to eat them right then and there. But yeah, this is the color that you want. Looking good. In this step, you just want to be able to scrape everything off and keep all the oil that drained, because that's got a lot of flavor in it too. And that's all the goodness right there. You want to scrape as much of that off as you can and get that into the pot that you're going to turn into a stock, because that is where the real flavor is actually sitting right there. Gold. So for me personally, instead of just using water, I'm using an actual organic chicken broth that I got from at the supermarket. any brand you can use, but you know, try and make it sure it's organic and it's not full of extra bits and bobs in there that you don't want, and it's just a clear chicken broth. This is going to intensify the stock itself. This recipe, this is an easy stock. I let it simmer for about an hour, nothing longer than that. We're not trying to overcomplicate things here. It's making the pie is going to be long enough in itself. So I managed to strain out all the leftover carcasses and the bones, which we're going to keep aside because we're going to keep that and pick that for the pie later on. And this is a nice golden stock that we're going to be left over that we're going to use for braising our chicken. Well, now comes the fun part. We're going to get some color on these thighs, but we're going to first remove the chicken breasts and the tenders that we kept aside, and I'm going to use this for another dish later on, like I mentioned earlier on in the video. Just save this, use it for whatever you want. It's beautiful. Okay, now for the legs. Let's get these seasoned up, and yeah, let's get some color on them and get them braising. So now for braising our legs and thighs. I'm using some garlic sliced down the center, quarter one golden onion, and a shallot, and lots of thyme. We want a lot of thyme in this. Beautiful aromatic for pies. Now you can see we have broken everything down. We got the onions, the shallots, we have the garlic sliced in half, we got thyme, we got bay leaves, coriander seeds, and a little pinch of fennel seeds down at the bottom. And I'm going to use some carrots peeled and chopped up for sweetness for the dish. This is it. This is what we need. So I like to keep everything chunky inside the roasting pot because I'm going to still utilize all the onions and the carrots in the actual pie, so we're not going to discard that completely. But this is how I like to set it up. When things start getting exciting, because now we've got the chicken in, got all the vegetables ready and the aromatics, and now comes that golden liquid, the chicken stock that we made from our carcasses earlier. This is, And then I like to use parchment paper just to cover the top of the chicken, and this is to protect it when I put the aluminum foil or aluminum foil wherever you are in the world, and that just has a protective layer, helps keep the steam in, cooks the chicken really nicely. Absolutely not going to waste anything on this pie. So what we use to make the stock, we're going to actually allow it to cool down, and now we're going to pick that and add that to a pie. That's what it looks like when it's all broken down. There's a lot of meat in there, so never waste it and throw it away, okay? Chicken has been braising for about 2 hours maximum at 360, 182 Celsius for those that are in Celsius. And yeah, you don't want it to be like overcooked. What you want to do is have it nice and soft so that you can still break down the chicken and it's still some texture in the pie itself. Now remember, like I said earlier on, we want to keep the onions and keep the carrots because we don't want to waste that. That's going straight into the pie again. This is going to add extra sweetness and texture inside the pie. This is what the chicken looks like once it's out the braise. If you notice, there's still the skin that I'm going to leave on. That's going to go straight into the pie. We're not losing that. We're going to let this cool down and pick it later. Okay, so here's for the extra strong chicken stock that we're going to be left over with from the braising. We want to get that through a fine sieve and remove any of the stalks from the thyme and use that for the roux later on. So much flavor in this, it's insane. Okay, so the next star of the show is the portobello mushroom. Why I use this for this pie, it's just I've always used it for this pie and it's insane. It's got so much give when you bite. It's got so much texture when you braise it in the pie, so it's definitely a mushroom I'd like to use. Other mushrooms kind of get lost in the pie itself. What you notice I'm doing here is just removing that top skin. The skin's good. You can keep it on if you want. I just like to remove it. You can use that in stocks too. So remove the stalks, and then we'll break down these mushrooms into little pizza wedges, I guess. Keep them as chunky as possible. This is gonna have texture and depth inside the pie instead of just being all a mush, you know? Too crazy with the mushrooms, you just want to get them in a pan, cook them out so they're nice and golden, but don't overcook them and dry them out. So now with the aromatics that I throw into the pie itself is going to be some oregano, so fresh oregano, and we're going to do some parsley. This we just want to get off the stalks, break it down, chop it all up, and that's going to go through the pie mixture itself. this, by the time the pie is cooked, allows those oils inside those herbs to kind of be released, and just adds so much more beautiful freshness to the pie. You don't want to be using dry herbs here. I suggest using fresh herbs. Okay, next phase is once that chicken has cooled down, allows you to break it down and get rid of all the bones and keep it nice and chunky. Keep some size to the chicken. Don't tear it and shred it. Squeeze out that beautiful roasted garlic, and those onions that we kept in the braise are gonna just stay as is. It works so well. So we're not wasting here, you know. We want to use as much as we can inside this pie, and it really does make a difference. So here, this is going to be the base of the roux. Just got equal quantities flour and butter, and we're going to get that over heat, cook it out until it smells like cooked biscuits, I guess. You just want to make sure the flour is cooked nice and golden and bubbly, and we're going to take that braising liquid that we saved from cooking the pie and braising the chicken in, and we're going to add it to the roux and start whisking in slowly at a time so it doesn't clump, and then bit by bit. Don't throw all the chicken stock in, just use what you need so it's got a nice consistency and thick. The aroma from this roux and chicken stock is just something I can't explain over video. You need to smell it yourself. It just reminds me of home so much. And this is the kind of consistency that you're looking for, and we're going to hold this in place and get all our ingredients mixed together. Add in the mushrooms that we just cooked off, because now they can go in, and you start seeing it come alive now. Everything's kind of coming together. You know, the herbs are going in, the fresh herbs, no dried herbs here, and now we've used everything, and we're going to get that picked off chicken that we use for the stock. We're gonna use every part of that chicken. Nothing gets wasted in this chicken pie. I just love this part of cooking, because everything starts coming together and the smells are just incredible. Always make sure to season towards your palate. You know, if you like it salty, throw in some salt. If you don't. Bear in mind, inside that roux has plenty of flavor, so you can always season the pie at the end. This is a magical moment. This is when the pie base is coming together. Like, this is like, for me, the best part about cooking is when it all starts coming together. All the little individual processes are now leading to this moment. I mean, I could just eat it like that. I bake a pie. I always like to have some parchment paper on a sheet and then a rack over the top, and then place my ramekin that I'm cooking the pie in over the top of that in case it bubbles over. Some pies, if you've noticed, can kind of leach out the side and drip into the oven. It makes it a hassle to clean up. Here comes the magic. Here comes the mixture, and we're going to get all of that mixture into the pot. You're going to get this mixture into the fridge to cool down before you add the puff pastry to the top, okay? That's always a little trick and a good tip. Now for the egg wash. I like to use 2 egg yolks and a splash of milk, but you can make an egg wash however you like. I just prefer to use egg yolks and no egg whites for my egg washes. It just creates a nice, beautiful golden color. I use 2 sheets of puff pastry. It doesn't matter, you can glue them together and make whatever patterns you want on the side. I just make sure everything's crimped down and ready to rock and roll. A very important part is to take that egg wash and get it everywhere you can, and clean up the edges where you've missed. And there's my beautiful leaf. I mean, look at that. Do is get that into an oven 200 Celsius, 400 F for about an hour until golden. What I've done is I've taken it out halfway just to rebrush some of the egg wash onto the areas that are splitting open. You don't have to do this, but I like to do a double coat of egg wash for the entire process. Cook it for about an hour until the top is extremely golden. Everything else is cooked inside, so it's fine. And you'll have a beautiful pie. Tell you, there is no good way to plate up a pie. I don't care. This is not for pictures. This is just to indulge. And indulge we will. I like to just cut a nice little square, scoop it out into a bowl, and I mean, here's the money shot right there. Come on. Oh, This is a winner. You have to try this. Winner, winner, chicken dinner, as they say. Beautiful chicken and mushroom pie. Great for sharing with friends, or, you know, just to cook at home if it's only 2 of you, because it's leftovers are even better. Full breakdown of my chicken and mushroom pie. It is not a hard recipe. I would love for you to try this at home. Do it the way you want to do it. Add different mushrooms if you want, add extra vegetables if you want, but I would like to see what you guys think about it. And as again, it's always been a pleasure cooking for you guys, making more content like this for you, and I'll be seeing you on the next one. Happy eating.